It is Friday, 13th of April 2018, and it's time for the news here on DBS Television. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to DBS Television. We begin the news with this presidential decree that was signed yesterday, appointing 30 members of the upper house. The 30 names now complete the 70 that were elected on March 25th, giving the total of 100 senators in the Senate. What is peculiar about this appointment was that almost all faces came in, those who were in the first legislature, and only new faces were appointed. We will bring you details about the composition of the upper house in the subsequent edition of our newscast. And we talk some other news. A partnership agreement for oil exploration between Best Petroleum and the Agence de Gestion de Coopération, AGC, grouping Senegal and Guinea-Bissau, has been made public. The signing ceremony in Douala yesterday took place between the chairman of Best Petroleum and representatives of AGC. Philip Sote was part of that signing ceremony and now reports.
Cameroon, Senegal and Guinea-Bissau have now entered another phase of South-South cooperation through a subsidiary of the Baba Group of Companies, Best Petroleum. A cooperation agreement has been signed with AGC, which is a management cooperation structure between Senegal and Guinea-Bissau. This agreement paves the way for Best Petroleum and AGC to partner in oil exploitation around the Senegal-Guinea-Bissau oil fields. During the signing ceremony that took place in the headquarters of the Baba Group in Douala, the board chair, Alhaji Baba Amadou Dampulo, recalled that it was the fruits of a working visit to both countries some 8 months back. During that visit, Alhaji Baba Amadou Dampulo held fruitful talks with Senegalese President Macky Sall and the President of Guinea-Bissau, José Mario Vaz. He was grateful to both presidents for the opportunity offered him to break new business grounds in those West African countries, and most especially to Cameroon's President Paul Biya for giving him the green light to meet and discuss business with Presidents Macky Sall and José Mario Vaz. The Secretary General of AGC, Julio Balde, who signed on behalf of his organization, said it was an eloquent demonstration of African integration whose benefits shall circulate between brothers of the same continent.
We believe this is a very fruitful partnership because AGC is an organization which belongs to two countries, is Guinea-Bissau and Senegal. And today having Best Petroleum, which is a company from Cameroon, investing in the AGC area is for us very, very important because it shows that really we are developing the cooperation between the two, not only between Senegal and Guinea-Bissau, but also we have a new country which is Cameroon, a company belonging to Cameroon which is investing in this area. This is a cooperation South-South, which is really very, very important for the development of Africa and development, in particular case, for the development of our two countries.
He saw in this agreement fallouts beneficial to all the stakeholders in several dimensions.
We are almost sure that it will be succeeded because, you know, the area which AGC belong to is the basin coming from Mauritania, Senegal, Gambia, Bissau and Conakry. And today is a very prospective area with the discovery of oil and the gas in north of Senegal and also in middle of Senegal. We have a lot of discovery which are not in value. This discovery made this area very important. And also in AGC area we have the heavy oil discovery. And the heavy oil discovery in AGC is also an indication that really this basin is very, very, very prospective. And in this contest we are sure that we will be successful. This agreement which we finalized to sign today with the Best Petroleum.
The signing ceremony that also brought together a representative from Guinea-Bissau, both members of Best Petroleum, is thus the beginning of concrete fallouts of the visit that Alhaji Baba Amadou Dampulo and a powerful delegation from the Baba Group of Companies undertook to both countries, during which he promised to do business there. It is thus a transition from promises to action.
From that report in Douala, we move over to Yaoundé, where the University Coordination Commission held its 2018 session last Wednesday in Yaoundé. The session, which brought together rectors and vice-chancellors of state universities of Cameroon, discussed issues of academic excellence, infrastructure, and the smooth unfolding of the academic year. The deliberations were presided at by Higher Education Minister Professor Jacques Famdongo. At the end of the session, Yaoundé-based reporter Baongo Francis caught up with some university heads who gave the temperature of their various institutions.
With regards to the University of Boyas, I was telling your French colleague, everything is quite okay. The university is executing its mandate as given to it by government. Exams were just held, and the Senate on Friday approved the results of the first semester exams, and they have been published. And I want to let you know that we will soon start the construction of the pedagogic and administrative block of ENSET of Kumba, which you know is an institution belonging to the University of Boya.
Concerning the University of Yaoundé, we had two recently created institutions. We have the Faculty of Medicine and Biosciences in Garoua, and the higher school of ENS, what do they even call it? Higher teachers, sorry, the higher teachers training college in Betwa. I wish to tell the press and the enlarged population that these two schools are already operational. They've started with their lectures. They are even preparing their exams. For example, yes, they have passed through the higher teachers training college in Betwa, and they were already writing their first term exams. Concerning the infrastructure, immediately these two institutions were created. Even before creation, they had made sure they identified where the lectures would start, and immediately we made sure we rehabilitated the infrastructures, gave them tables, chairs, all what you need to start training with, and they're already operational, as I said.
We come back to Douala, where the Ministry of Tourism and Leisure has announced a series of innovations to better prepare ahead of AFCON 2019. The Littoral region this week launched its tourism session, outlining a series of activities to be carried out. Jalo Buba was part of the launching ceremony and put together this report.
The Littoral Regional Delegation for Tourism and Leisure has made known their roadmap of activities for the 2018-2019 ahead of the start of Africa Cup of Nations to be hosted by Cameroon. The tourism sector is therefore going to play an important role in ensuring that various touristic sites are kept up to date to give the huge number of visitors coming into the country, including tourists, to receive maximum satisfaction. Douala, being one of the main entry and exit corridor, were likely to undergo a series of innovation on its touristic sites, and to better do that, training becomes inevitable.
We have decided together with all the promoters of the tourism sector to develop and to reinforce the capacities of the operators who work in the sector, and all those who work in the sector, because we know that the human resources are the main base of the success of tourism in our country. We have also decided to develop the internal tourism by organizing many excursions so as to permit to people to know and to visit our touristic sites. And then we'll organize by September the regional days of tourism with many activities. At the end, we'll organize the election of Miss Tourism 2018.
Cameroon, generally known as Africa in miniature, has all it takes to boost and make its tourism sector one with a difference.
We move over to the East region, where the commander of the newly created 16th Motorized Infantry Battalion, Brigadier Ewang Misape Eyong, has been installed into his functions in the border town of Garoua Bulai in the East region. Ate Bonaventure brings us details of that installation ceremony in the following report.
The ceremonial ground of the border town of Garwabulai in the East region was full of euphoria during the installation of Ewang Mesape Eyong, commander of the 16th Motorized Infantry Battalion that was recently created by presidential decree. During the military ritual that was presided at by Brigadier General Joseph Nuna in the presence of the governor of the East region, Gregoire Mvongo, the senior military official was urged to work in close collaboration with the population, local and administrative officials in order to put an end to transborder criminality, especially with the present chaotic situation in the neighboring Central African Republic. The creation of a command post of the MIB in Garwabulai, according to the denizens, came as a prompt response to the numerous security threats which the pioneer commander does not ignore.
I want to start by thanking the hierarchy for putting a lot of confidence in me, appointing me on this very important duty. I want to thank God, and I want to thank my entire family for constant support. The mission I have been assigned to, I know I'm up to because I've worked in Central Africa already under the umbrella of United Nations, that's MINUSCA, and the African Union, United Nations, African Union, that's MISCA. So I know the area, I know the people, I know how to treat them, so I know the task that has been assigned.
The ceremony was marked by a military march past, cultural display, and a motion of support to the head of state, President Paul Biya.
We remain in the East region, where the African Synergy for the fight against HIV and AIDS has organized training sessions for social and professional workers on the fight against the pandemic. Organized in the East region, it was under the theme My 2030 Beats. Ajara Ali has details.
Organizing this third phase of the pilot program is to train socio-professional leaders in the fight against HIV/AIDS under the Pan-African Synergy. It is a question to work under the slogan Mon Pari pour 2030, put under the patronage of Madame Chantal Biya, the ruling president of the Synergy. This workshop these days center to train and build the capacity to involve over 1,000 actors under different social group and professionals. Speaking at the workshop, the executive secretary of the Synergy, Jean-Stéphane Bacha, says the prevalence rate in the East region remains alarming, with 6.3% as a region with the most affected cases, with the youth between 14 and 24 involved by this illness. It is of high need to put the strategy that will increase sensitization by involving the social and professional partners. Officially launching this campaign is the governor of the East region, Gregoire Mvongo, who used this occasion to call on partners to listen carefully the models of the campaign for professional to the roadside population. To round up, participants equally acquire knowledge on the dynamics of the pandemic in Cameroon and propose future solutions in preventing HIV/AIDS in the country.
From the east, we move over to the north, where elections for the president of the National Coordination Center for the Promotion of Breeding in the Sahel and Savannah in the northern region, APES, took place recently. Abdullahi Nana came out victorious with 69% of votes, as Vanessa reports in this report.
The election of the president of the National Coordination Center of Livestock took place recently in the hall of the Association for the Promotion of Breeding in the Sahel and Savannah, APES, in the northern region. The objective of this association electing a national president is to make sure they subsidize livestock producers and farmers to work together.
I am here in Cameroon at APES Center to be an international observer on the election of national president and his other members for APES in Cameroon. Let them be very objective.
3 candidates were presented and each had 5 minutes to campaign in front of the 39 electorates. Abdullahi Nana emerged victorious from these elections with 69% of votes. The national president of APES in Nigeria, who is an international observer on the elections of national presidents, called on the president and their collaborators to work in close link with the government.
They also give a lot of attention on assisting them. So that is why I'm advising him to be very close to the government, to do all his activities with collaboration with the government, and then let him work with the grassroots.
He also encouraged the association to train women and youth so that they will abstain from social ills and develop their intellect.
And we also encourage them in training and incorporating the youth and women into all their breeding programs, because unless if you allow the youth to become idle before they go into other non-productive activities like terrorism, like clashes and so on.
The Association for the Promotion of Breeding in the Sahel and Savannah region is organized in every town of the region and 13 countries in Africa.
We come down to the West region, where local producers in animal rearing have been educated on a few and new techniques on how to rear their animals. This was during a seminar that took place recently in Bafoussam and was organized by some Belgian doctors. We have details with student journalist Seka Zuwairatu.
The hygienic and sanitation situation in piggery and rabbit rearing has been looked upon in the West region of Cameroon, organized by a team of Belgian veterinary doctors. This was to call on the attention of the breeders on the consequences of improper sanitation on pigs and rabbits rearing. It was done through their technical assistance while motivating them on their business and equally teach them some modern rearing techniques. One of the doctors explained that it was not the first time that this workshop is organized in that part of the country, and each time it's taking place, the feedback is always positive. It was also an opportunity for them to learn something new. The veterinary expert questioned these local producers on their nutritive elements and their security principles. These were general issues they were asked to follow, giving them as reason that if any single thing is neglected in a rearing domain, being cattle or pigs, the consequences will be enormous, such as loss of animals leading to low income. The producers appreciated this gesture by saying that they have learned to renew their pigs' environment and that whenever this workshop is being called, they do not waste time, for they go there to learn new methods on how to ameliorate their rearing techniques. This project shall continue in other areas in the West region of Cameroon.
And with that report, we come to the end of this edition of the news here on DBS Television. The news will be coming up in the French language in less than 30 minutes with Colin Bekatal. It was our pleasure that you decided to begin this day in our company. Have a blessed day in the company of programs here on DBS Television. God bless your day and have a blessed weekend ahead.